Oh, here we go. Welcome back to the All-Purpose Pod for an All-Purpose Life. Wherever you are today and how you're hearing our show, thank you again for making us a part of your morning, your day, and your week. We're your weekly mirror check before you change the world. Herb, Bo, and Rod, somebody out here in the stratosphere. How you guys doing this morning?
Good. How about you, man?
Fantastic, man. Excited this morning. I don't know why. Super excited this morning. I think it was them street gummies.
Nice.
I'm pumped. I'm ready to roll this morning. Oh my goodness! I ain't even have a sip of Joe yet. I ain't even sipped none yet. I'm ready to roll already.
How are you even functioning? I've learned that I can't do y'all show without a sip.
It's funny. I actually don't have coffee this morning either. So,
wow.
Now I feel like the outsider.
I already gave you the secret. I just said it. I ain't gonna say it again. But I think that's the answer. But doing good this morning, man. I got some we can't talk about that. I got some crazy news this morning, though. Buddy of mine said our old supervisor with the government kicked the bucket. I'm like, what? It's weird when you got somebody with a reputation, I guess, and you find out that they're not here anymore. It's like you immediately feel, I feel a lot of sorrow. So like, it's a weird start to the morning already, man. But we got a lot to discuss, a lot to go into, but oh wow, what a weekend of sports. Everybody's, I've been talking about it for like about a month because I'm like, I haven't come to terms with the fact that the NFL is essentially about to be over.
Yeah.
In about 2 weeks, it's like, okay, now we got to look to spring football and put all of our eggs in that basket. We can't conserve any eggs until next September. We got to put them all in, all the cards to the center of the table. Spring football has to work.
Man, I don't know.
Make us shareholders and investors because we are as invested as everybody else. The Rock and his ex-wife is. We are as invested as they are. This has to work.
I don't know if I have much faith.
Oh man,
it never seems to work,
man.
Well, I don't because of the way they went around it. Right, yeah. The way they handled that merger makes me have very little faith in this process.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, let's talk about football. Okay, y'all talking about boardrooms and corporate structure.
Well,
I'm
talking about football because they had their opportunity to expand the league, and instead they cut it in half.
Yeah,
and they made it a regional sport. They made it so that you're ignoring 2/3 of the country. That doesn't say success to me. Like that spells out a lot of fan bases that you just alienated, especially because they already had teams.
Yep.
So we are talking about football and the lack of people that are going to watch it.
We discussed it, but that's all we have, man.
I know. I'm just saying. I don't.
I gotta. It's about the 100 yards, man. That's all
I'm telling you, I'm gonna get more into pickleball, and I'll figure out how to get by.
I'm not doing that with you, man. not as a
football is so hurtful.
Football
is so hurtful.
It's not a substitute. Sorry, I just can't do it.
No.
I need this to work.
Like I'm gonna try.
I need this to work, man.
I'm gonna try. Like I'm gonna watch it, and I'm hoping the product is good. But I mean, to go the way they did, it's probably not gonna work out.
I'm gonna give it my best effort.
I give it 2 years.
I don't care how the whole regional thing went down. I don't like that either. I think that kind of sucks because you had people that were going. I don't know how many, but at least a few hundred, at the very least, were going to your games. Probably more than that. So
like here in Seattle, they had quite a bit of turnout. It was a playoff team. Like
you cut them off. So I'm not through with that. But I'm gonna give it a try. I'm going to watch. That's all I can promise. Good morning,
like
man. The myth, the legend, one half of the Herb and Raj podcast, seen here on YouTube and Twitter and Facebook every Tuesday evening at 9 p.m. EST. Raj, good morning, man. And of course, the obligatory roll tide must be added. I respect that. Good morning. Good morning.
But yeah, no, I wouldn't say I've cut them off. I mean, I'm going to give it a try. I want the product to work. Just the delivery probably didn't help their cause.
They cut fans off. I mean,
yeah. Oh, yeah, they absolutely did that.
All those fan bases that had, like I said, I don't know how many people were coming to attendance, but I'm pretty sure, safe to say, maybe 5 figures were in the arenas during these games. Would you say?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
10,000 people.
Yeah.
So how many franchises were that were growing, like what, 8 to 10? So you're talking about 100,000 people you got rid of.
Yeah. Well, and that are going to be bitter about it, right? Because they went and bought gear. And, did all of those
things. They can't use it for anything now.
Yeah, well, I mean, you bought your season tickets, you bought merch, like you did all these things, and then you're just like, just kidding, you don't have a team anymore, but we still want you to watch. It's like, those fans are gonna be like, I think I'm good, man.
Yeah. they got to answer for that. That's gonna be a question. What about all these franchises, these fan bases that were invested? How many years we talking? At least a few, right? They've been doing this,
sure.
And you say, you know what? Your home team, the only team you may have in your area, in some cases, they're gone.
Yeah.
Well,
and you're not following players. You're definitely following your team. A lot of these leagues aren't long enough for you to get invested. So the team.
You're following your home team. The teams that they got rid of was what was crazy about it, because they're talking about wanting to increase viewership and all of this, and of course you want to do that, right, to be successful in general, but you're going to get rid of the West Coast. You're going to get rid of New York and really the East Coast as well. Where does that pencil out?
Yeah. They put all your money into the Texas basket. That's what they did. Yeah. We pushed all in on Texas, and we hope that's going to carry it. But
I mean, it doesn't make sense.
I don't know how. I don't even see how they can start expanding again. I mean, it's like, because where are you going? To the same places you got rid of, or you can try to find a new market? I mean, what's going to happen? This is going to be weird.
And if you go back in, do you name the team something else? And now you got to buy all new merch and stuff. So even if you go into that market, they may already be mad at you, right? You're like, now you're coming back and you're changing the name, and it seems like a dumpster fire. It seems like 100% the wrong move.
I want to see that pitch. Hey, I know we took your team for a year or two, but we're back. What do you think?
No? Hey,
no,
come on, join us.
But still toss all that old gear, because you're no longer the Sea Dragons. Now you are the Sea Wolves or something, right? So
that'll make it even worse if they keep half the name and just change the last part just to do it. That's like, hey, just let me stick the knife in here.
100%. Yeah.
I want to get you guys' thoughts on the NFL head coaching carousel. I want to make one statement about this before we get into it. All right, so get your minds ready for the head coaching carousel deal. But what if another investor decides to get all of those franchises that got dumped and start a new league? Is it impossible for that to happen?
Well, I mean, probably, because the owners, you'd have to get the owners, or you mean just straight out buy all the teams?
I'm saying start a league the same way Rocky and his ex-wife did. Start another league, which is probably overkill, but start another league with all those. I mean, those franchises I think it's about 8 to 10 different teams. We can check it out and fact check it. But
what's his player pool? I wonder what his player pool was first.
Yeah,
but who decided that though? The teams, right? The teams are deciding where the players are going, right? The players are to some degree. So there's room for them to. There's room for that.
Yeah, I mean, if you could swing it, sure. I mean, you could potentially do it. The problem is you'd still be going in, having to change the names of all of those teams, because
keep the old ones.
You can't. They own the names.
Who?
USFL or USF or XFL, whatever they're calling this thing.
Them guys.
Yeah, they own all those franchise names.
They can sell the rights to the names. I mean, why keep it? You ain't using it
because they don't want the competition.
It's going to be hard enough.
I would make it harder for you also. Like if I had a business and you were trying to limit your competition, you're not going to sell your branding. You're going to be like, nah, come up with your own. Best of luck. See if you can get fan engagement. Because even if it's a new group coming in, you're still going to have people that bought merch from the last one that are going to be leery to do it again. Right? They'll be like, oh, yeah, right. The team's kind of back, I guess, but now it's a new team or a new league and it's a new name. And I don't know if I want to drop $500 in merch again.
So here's my question. Was this an actual merger or dissolution?
It was a merger.
It was a merger. So that means the UFL, I'm sorry, that means the
you're right.
USFL and the XFL are still actively involved in this?
Yes. So the two ownership, like the two front offices of the organizations have kind of done some blending. And then some of the way the teams have come together have done some blending. So some of them were from the USFL, some of them from the XFL. And then the two Houston teams actually merged together the two teams. So they kept the XFL roster, the USFL front office for some reason. So it just a very weird, just a very weird.
Sounds like a concession. I'll let you stay and work in this part, and you guys can work in this part. It's not like it's a full. It's like a full party agreement. It seems like it's like.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that was, I guess the thing that was weird about it is you're keeping the front office from the USFL, but they're going to use the XFL rules. And so they're doing all the XFL platforms. It seems like if you were going to do anything, you would have kept the XFL front office, right, for that team. And then, I mean, they probably just kept the XFL roster because it was better than the USFL roster would be my assumption there. And I guess there's going to be there's going to be a draft basically from all the teams that got, crushed. Right. So they're going to try and disperse some of those players, but you got 8 less teams. So, a lot of those players are going to get displaced just out of football altogether. So, yeah, I don't know.
Okay. This sounds like there's some pieces missing to all this. I don't have a full picture.
Yeah, I mean it's not great.
I hope the football is decent. That's all I can hope for now. Because we have to have that. I don't care if it's 3 months. We need to have some decent football. Or we're going to revolt.
I mean,
we're going to revolt. Pure and simple. That's what's going to happen.
It honestly is why I think it'll make it 2 seasons. Is because they did it the way they did it. I just don't think they're going to get the traction that they otherwise would have got. Had they kept the 2 leagues going for maybe another couple years and then brought them together so that it was a 16-team league or a 14, like maybe a couple of them didn't make the transition or whatever, probably would have made sense. But for them to merge the 2 and then scrap half the teams, I mean, you basically just closed one of the leagues is all you did.
Yeah. We weren't in the boardroom, so we don't know why they decided on 3 months as opposed to your idea, which would probably take a little bit longer. So there could be a reason for that TV-wise. I don't know. Maybe it's a Fox thing. I don't know. I mean, the Fox is going heavy into MLB probably in early April, so they probably don't want to have that and football going at the same time. It's probably all a Fox thing, just a shot in the dark there. But coaching carousel. Well, since the last time we talked, some folks got some jobs. Hold on first. Mom, good morning, Mom. Thank you again for joining us. So faithful. We appreciate you so much. Thanks for joining us on the show today. All right, look at it. We already getting started here.
Can they both lose? That'd be cool.
I'm sure you're not alone. I'm on the record. I'm going to say it here today. Now I ain't changing my mind. I'm with you, Gotham. I want the same thing to happen. I do not want to hear nothing about a repeat. I don't want to hear it. We'll never be free of who. We'll never get rid of them. This happened. We need the Chiefs to go down. That's just the bottom line. Okay, coaching carousel. Where you guys want to start? Atlanta Falcons. Did that one shock you guys? I had to reread it to make sure I heard that right. I'm like, what?
It didn't really shock me. I mean, Raheem Morris was on people's radar. I mean, he was interviewing with the Seahawks. I think he had an interview with the Commanders. So it's not like it was a shot in the dark. And the fact that Bill isn't going to land somewhere isn't a shock to me. I mean, you're talking about a guy that has to implement his culture, right? That takes time. And you're looking at Bill is probably 5 years at best, right? So if you have a couple of years of building that culture, you got 2, maybe 3 years with him at head coach, maybe it works. And then you're basically pushing everyone out of the building to do it. And you're changing everything you've ever done about football up until that point. So for him to have not landed with the Falcons, it isn't a shock to me. And, for them to bring in Raheem Morris, I mean, everybody was giving him interviews anyway. So it wasn't that big of a shock.
Herb.
No, I was surprised. And I guess because I'm not as big on the NFL coaching names. So it kind of just felt like here are the guys that are getting the pub for the interviews. Here are the guys that are getting the bigger headlines. Oh, but here's who we hired. But the Belichick thing in particular, when he first said he was interviewing, I was like, what's the situation he really wants to go to? It's clear he doesn't want to go into like a rebuild. Is he going to want too much power for these teams that he's joining too? I think that's a problem. Personnel decisions have not been great. So like, what situation would be good for him to go into that, is kind of to the point that he'd be ready to win like in 5 years? I don't know that any of these situations is perfect for him, and I'm not entirely shocked that he didn't land one of these jobs. It's almost like he'd be landing on his name alone versus what we think he can actually get done in this situation. That would have been my problem.
Yeah, he'll probably spend time doing something else, and his name will come up next year. And the whole cycle that normally happens with coaches that that leave a team and don't find a new shooter right away. The Morris thing it shocked me. I'm kind of, I guess we're 2-1 against you both, but it shocked me a little bit. Not because his name wasn't in the hat; he was being discussed. I think there was for better reasons than the Rooney Rule that he was being thought about. But when I look at his work out in LA, there's some good that happened out there. I mean, they had a really good defensive unit. It wasn't fantastic, but I mean, it was pretty decent. I mean, they only used 20% of their cap space on defense, and they had some sack records and kept their opponents to 22 points per contest. So it wasn't like it wasn't bad. I mean, they had Aaron Donald's on the team, so I mean, you can't go wrong with that. The new kid, Kobe. I don't know much about Kobe Turner, but he was a beast this year. He was out there tearing it up. I mean, I don't know how much credit we can give to Morris. I mean, he was 21 and 38.
Well, I think what you give Morris is his ability to maximize what he had on his roster, because it's not like that roster is just beaming with talent. They have
that's
a couple of
coach. That's enough for a head coaching job. Just maximizing your.
It means you can motivate guys, which as a head coach, that half your battle right there.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you have defensive coordinators and offensive coordinators to call plays and run those units, but your ability to motivate and direct men is a key piece. And he had this defense playing really well, despite the fact that it's not a deep roster and it's not littered with a bunch of names, but they played good defense. Was it great? No, but when you look at the team on paper, you're not like, oh, that's a great defense. You look at it and you're like, I don't know who half these people are. And he had to play competitive defense.
Okay. Urban, any additional thoughts about Raheem Morris?
No, like I said, it did kind of surprise me. The players, I guess, have already started to rally around him. But players that have played for him are already loving this and hyping him up. So obviously, I hope he does well there. But we'll see. First defensive guy coming in, and the first thing you have to do is figure out the quarterback position. So good luck with that.
I love all this. That part right there, we're not ignoring that. We can talk about it all. We can talk about the defense all day. First off, the defense in the Falcons was already good before he got there.
Yep.
So we getting props for that too. Because if it wasn't for Jared going out, they probably would have been ending the season of I'm assuming maybe top 5 defense, perhaps, before he went out. So he's going to a defense that's doesn't need a whole lot of work. So gonna ride on something else besides your defensive prowess, because that quarterback situation is not going anywhere.
Right.
No, it's not. But there's gonna be people available. So
and good weapons. They've drafted on. They've put draft picks into the offense. So
yeah,
there.
Like they have nice pieces. They have a good enough draft pick. They could draft a guy if they want. There's free agents out there they could get. So you just need competent quarterback play there. Yeah. It's not even like they have to be all-stars. You're in a weak division that is very winnable. So I don't think he has to come and reset the mentality of the league to be successful. They have a decent defense that he can make better. They have good offensive weapons. Yeah, they got to find a quarterback, but so does half the league. So, but you got free agents out there like Kirk Cousins, stuff like that. And of course, you have a really deep quarterback class. So, you can take a flyer on one of those guys late first round. If he hits, cool. And if not, nobody's going to be that mad at you for taking the 6th option at quarterback. So,
and what do you like? Improve by like a game or two next year, and you're hosting a playoff game. So it's not a terrible situation to be in.
No, it's not bad. It's not bad. 3 cheers for Raheem Morris. All right, how about the Carolina Panthers?
What about them?
I don't know. I don't know anything about Mike Dave Canales. I have no idea who that is.
He's brave. I'll tell. There's other words I want to use to describe it, but he's cojones.
They gave him a 6-year contract. One thing, you can't call him dumb. You got
6 years, and in 2 years he'll be able to go find another OC job somewhere else. And
the owner part is always the linchpin in this, because
a year and a half from now
we know that about him. So
a year and a half he's fired.
We don't know what's going to happen. I doubt the 6 years are guaranteed, so I have no idea what's going to happen. But so nobody knows anything about Dave Canales. No offense to Canales or any of his fans out here, but
or his family.
So he was a good positions coach. He was in Seattle. He was our wide receivers coach at one point. So I think he was here for 5-6 years, something like that. So it was a little bit of a surprise, but you knew they were going to have to kind of pick someone that was a surprise because the situation is tenuous. Exactly. So, I don't know. We'll see how he does.
We'll see.
But
I don't want to spend time on that because that's not really a great talking point. So let's move off of that. But okay, Tennessee Titans. OC Callahan. I guess he has some guys on the Bengals that think he's really great and credit him a lot with what I won't call it a resurgence, but I guess the progress of Joe Burrow as a quarterback there. So he's going to the Titans to replace Mike Vrabel. It's kind of a wait and see with him too. I like what Burrow did, but I don't know how much of it was predicated on Callahan's influence. It's kind of hard to tell sometimes. That this person helped develop me as a quarterback to this point that fans can see. So when we hear about it, it's news to us. We don't know. But so for me, I don't have a lot to say about that. I don't mean to cut it short, but if you guys got commentary on that one, by all means, please share it. But I don't know what to say here. You got to watch and see how he works in that offense, how he galvanizes the team, who they draft, all the things I heard was mentioned earlier. So go ahead, guys.
Well, so that's going to be the biggest thing for him is his GM going to give him some talent? Because otherwise he's going to struggle the same way Vrabel did, because they just don't have dudes on the roster. You can only do so much with an aging group that hasn't played particularly well. Changing the coach isn't going to make these guys younger. Right. Yeah. So we'll see what he does. He is a good coach. So hopefully he can do something there, but he's going to need some love from that GM to get some talent in the room. Otherwise he's just coaching the same tired unit they had. And obviously that didn't produce a lot of wins.
Yeah.
Nope.
The GM, I think we said this on the show before. GM is the one really should have gotten fired. The talent is not there, and they got caught between, are we trying to rebuild a little, and are we just signing older guys, like the Hopkins signing, and it's kind of like they don't know what they're doing over there. And I don't know what, I think Vrabel got the most he could have gotten out of that group, really. So.
Oh, brother. All right. So we also know that, speaking of, well, let's jump back to that. Well, the Chargers got their new coach, former Michigan head coach, Jim Harbaugh. He signed on, and he's getting guys from his old team to try to come and join him. So basically pilfering the roster on his way out, which is funny. But he got a talented quarterback in Justin Herbert. I guess in his mind, gives him the best chance at the Super Bowl.
Yep.
I guess out of the options that were available here, okay, I guess maybe that could be accurate. I mean, he never considered the Panthers at all, which is like startling to me. But
why is that? Why would you be?
Yeah, I would never consider the Panthers.
Absolutely
yeah,
not.
I laughed because I was being facetious, bro. But yeah.
Oh, okay. I was just like, what are we talking about right now?
We're not talking about anything, bro. But as far as the Chargers go, yeah, I mean, so that I don't know. You guys already know that kind of my secret second team. I watch them. I watch who they draft. I know what's going on with it. I can talk to you about the Chargers as fluid as I do about the Giants. I know what's happening over there. Trying to make them the Michigan of the West. I don't know what that means, but they have talent there. I mean, I love me some Austin Eckler. I mean, trust me, I can talk about him all day. I hope he plays another 5-7 years. I like what he does, but he has talent. He inherited all of that stuff. So now it's about the coaching staff and get some stuff fixed and dealing with that drafting situation, because that hasn't been good. I know that Telesco doesn't get all of the credit, all of the blame for that, but he got guys that was from all pros. Don't get me wrong, but some of the guys came through there, man. I don't know I feel like most of these guys were injury prone in college, and you brought them in thinking that would change something. Our NFL type of training staff will be able to help resolve something. No, they've been injured here. For example, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen. I mean, the list goes on and on. These guys constantly. I mean, Bosa gets hurt every single doggone season, and sometimes multiple times within the season. Even announcers like Bosa's down. It's like they don't say again, but you can tell they want to say again. Down, so it's like it happens so often. It's like, so Harbaugh has a wealth of treasures in that franchise, but some opportunities there to kind of resolve some things too. So, how you guys feeling about the signing? I mean, we all kind of thought they were the front runner. How you feeling about it? Did that increase their chances in that division? It should, at least somewhat.
Yeah, no, it definitely does.
Agreed.
That division's beatable. So you're looking at a Oakland or a Las Vegas team that is not, they don't have a clear direction yet, right? Obviously, they have their coach, which is awesome, but they have some real questions across that roster. They need to upgrade at quarterback. They have position groups that aren't real deep. So that's not a team that's ready to compete this next year, right? Okay. So then you look at the Broncos and the dumpster fire that thing has been. That is continuing to kind of simmer in that way, where you look at now they're kind of backtracking there. We're going to get Russ out of the building. They're like, oh no, there's a way you can stay. And I'm sure that's solely because they finally looked at the finances of it and realized they can't get rid of him. This is the first year of his huge contract. Like
So you're saying there's a chance?
I'm saying there's a really high chance because they can't just eat that contract, especially
$85 million cap hit is kind of prohibitive.
Yeah, you're basically not fielding a football team if you eat that. So, they're pretty much going to have to bring him back. So that team, again, is just disjointed top to bottom as far as being a cohesive unit. So they're not really going to be in the mix. And then you got KC. The defense is the best defense they've had since Mahomes has got there. That offense, on the other hand, is definitely not. So if you look at that, that's, again, another beatable team. So they could be competing with KC for this division with just maximizing what you have on that defensive side of the roster. That is one of the most expensive units in football and the least impressive defensive unit for the price. across the league. So if you can get them playing decent, not even elite or anything, but if you have them playing decent, that offense was one of the top scoring and yardage, as far as moving the ball down the field in the league until the last few weeks when everybody got hurt. So, yeah, I mean, this can be a team that immediately can compete for that division.
Yep. You think if you can get to 4-2 just kind of out of the gate, that puts you in a great position, drop one of the games you shouldn't against the others, but maybe split with KC. But hey, we've said it all along. Like, it's one of the more desirable positions. And I think they've got maybe the best coach of the bunch to come there. It feels like a good meshing of talent to coach. And like you said, the division is gettable. I know we're talking about KC. Yeah, they're in the Super Bowl, but this is probably not one of your better KC positions right now. So I would definitely I think it's a good position for him to be in. I think he went to a good team, and it's there for the taking.
I'm listening to you guys, man, but I'm like, I'm thinking about what you said about KC. I'm like, why did we let Spanos go? Now that I look back, I'm like, why did we do that? What kind of flaming idiots would let him go when he coached to a Super Bowl and dominated on that side of the ball? Why would we let him out of the building? What kind of idiots would? I'm sorry. We're off into a tangent. I'm sorry. That's crazy to me. But anyways, yeah, all that stuff makes sense, man. The division is not it's up for grabs. Yeah. Like Herb said, a 4-2 start. That a 4-3 start to be great. I'm saying that's fantastic for them. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of opportunity there. Looks like Ben Johnson's going to be going to the Commanders. Now the Lions have been knocked out of the playoffs based on last night's debacle. Ben Johnson, I think, is going to be named the Commanders head coach. Any thoughts about that? I mean, we know he has some kind of offensive prowess. We've seen some of that with Detroit, but do you like him to be the ringleader in Washington?
I mean, he's a good coach. I mean, he's going to get a shot in one of the two places, I would think. I know that the Commanders are also supposed to meet with Dan Quinn for a third time. So
what about Seattle? That was my next question. How many times did they interview him? Quinn?
Twice, but they've interviewed almost everybody twice at this point. So now they're kind of
not sold, are they? They're not sold then.
As many people as they've been interviewing, I think they're just kind of really working through the process. At least I'm hoping that's the mindset because of some of the people they brought in for interviews is the parts that worry me. So because they brought in some coaches that were in the bottom 5 of like all the statistical categories that they coached in. And so those are not ones I want appointed to our team, but you're going to see Ben Johnson and Mike McDonald get a lot of work between those two teams this week.
What if Vrabel doesn't have a job when the season starts? That'd be crazy.
He's not going to. He's actually not going to have a job.
That's weird to me.
It's really weird to me. Yeah. I think some of it is because of the Belichick ties as far as culture. All these teams seem to be going with the player-friendly younger coach.
Player-friendly?
Okay. Show me where I'm wrong.
No, I get it. It's just like, and am I just wrong on the job that he's done there? I regard him as one of the better coaches, and maximizing talent. So it's weird.
Yeah, so, I 100% agree with you. I would have hired Vrabel.
Yeah.
Like, he goes to the playoffs 3 times, gets you to a championship game, and then he falls off, not because his guys weren't being coached up. He had no guys.
Yeah.
Like, of course you're going to be bad. So, yeah, I feel like
I'm with her on that one.
No, so am I. I feel like he should have had a job. I'm just saying that's not the way this coaching trend has gone this season.
Right.
That's brutal. I thought the Hawks would at least give him a shot and do it. Nobody else that they can.
I actually don't know that they gave him an interview. I think they had a phone call and that was it.
Can you please check that? That'd be incredible.
Yeah, I don't think they brought him in for an interview. At least
that would be absolutely incredible.
Yeah, everything that I've read so far had nothing where Vrabel came to Seattle.
Interesting.
I don't think there's any more openings left. I think this is it. Unless somebody's going to be surprised, this is it right here.
Washington and Seattle. That's it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
Good morning to the BBB, the beautiful bearded bastards.
That's right. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Triple B, baby. Thanks for joining us, guys. Love it. That's weird, man. That's really weird. Let's move on to Dallas.
I'm with you. But
Let's move on to Dallas. Yeah, we ain't staying there. We'll watch Vrabel. Let me know if he got an interview, because I'm shocked that he didn't get at least one with Seattle. I'm blown away by that part.
Well, so I think he did have a phone call, but that was it. Yeah. Okay,
that's not great. All right, so you guys know about Dak's family wanting him out of Big D. I'm like, what took him so long? CeeDee Lamb's mom is involved in this. The Parsons family of Michael Parsons are involved. I'm like, wow. Is your team unraveling now, or are we going to let the offseason kind of repair some of these non-fatal wounds? Because this is like crazy now. CeeDee Lamb's mom is shattering, talking about he ain't it, referring to Dak. Once her son traded to Houston, which is a nice. If you can pick where you want to go, that's a nice idea to stay in state to a team that was deep in the playoffs and overachieved. Have your son go there, yeah. That's low hanging fruit if I ever saw it, you know. But talking about how Dak is criticizing CeeDee Lamb because he's cutting off routes and he's not wrong. He was doing that, but they got a mess in that team. And as a Giants fan, I'm good with the drama. I mean, keep that going. You know what I'm saying? But seriously though, should Dak be thinking about getting out of Big D, or should he stay there and tough it out for however much time you're going to have left and try to help them win the big one? What would you do if you were Dak? Would you get out of there and go somewhere else?
The payday he's about to get, I think, keeps him in Dallas, and they have the talent. So if you get out of Dallas, are you blaming Dallas for the whole situation? Are you blaming CeeDee Lamb? Like, I don't know. And then where are you going that's going to throw that much money at you for the results they're getting? So
yeah, I don't know where he would be going. I mean, I know a few teams that we just mentioned who got new head coaches that don't have starting quarterbacks. Yeah, not on the level of Dallas, because Dallas, of course, is called America's team. I dispute that, but at least in this day and age,
there would be landing spots for him. But if you're going to get rid of that,
we just named three. Whether you like them or not, we named the Titans, probably the Hawks too, I guess, if you're going to be real about it. The Raiders, I missed one, and the Falcons. Look, that's just four. There's still, I'm sure there's more.
I mean, just Commanders.
I mean, we ain't even got a quarterback either. I don't care what people say. We don't have one either. So there's a whole bunch of folks who need a quarterback right now. But would he want to go and leave this level of status to go to a different team? I don't know about that part, but
so the real question there isn't where Dak would go. It's where would the Cowboys go without Dak? What's your plan? Like, who are you going to have under center?
My question was legitimate.
You gonna go forward with Trey Lance?
The shade is real. No.
You gonna go draft somebody? Like, your roster's set to win now. You're gonna go get Kirk Cousins? I mean, it's
if Jerry's the one that's asking,
he's the same guy.
Don't be surprised.
Yep, you'll have a great regular season record, and you'll lose in the playoffs still.
Yeah,
and that's where this story is.
They're in a spot where they're kind of hogtied by what they have, because what else is out there isn't better than him. And your roster
is that enough for a long-term contract, though? Is that enough for a long-term contract or a short-term deal, like a 2-year deal with heavy money on the end?
Yeah, I'd give him a shorter, like a 2-3 deal. Probably a 3 is probably.
You can give him a 5 with all this stuff that's going on right now. People talk about. I mean, if Lamb is really, he's crying to his mom, so his mom didn't get it from nowhere. She heard it from a baby boy. So yeah. if Lamb is really that discontented with not the word I want. Discontented with you, how's that going to last for 4 or 5 years? Just that doesn't. It's not gonna be great. So we like the heat that his family's talking to. Dak's family's talking as well. Want to get him out of there. It ain't a place for him, and all this extra stuff they're adding into this. It's a powder keg right now. So give him a 4 or 5 year deal. I don't think that's a great idea. Maybe like a 2. Give him a chance to try to.
I don't know if you'd get him to sign a 2, but you could probably get him for a 3 with like a voidable 3rd year, right? To get him into the number that he would be comfortable with staying outside of like franchise tagging him or something. But yeah, I mean, the thing is what's your other option, right? The only other guy that's going to give you the only other guy that's going to give you similar play would be Kirk Cousins. That's a free agent. And he's going to, nobody can afford to go get Russ. But you bring in Cousins, you're going to have to pay him too. So it's not like you're going to bring him in for similar play and you're not going to pay him the exact same amount Dak's going to get paid. Like he's going to get that same contract. So, and then outside of that, you're drafting somebody. But then if you're drafting someone, you better hope they hit because the rest of your roster is kind of in the middle of their contracts. So you're only going to have like a year or 2 to try that out. And then you're going to lose all these guys. Besides the fact that they already lose, they're probably going to lose Pollard and they're over their cap already.
They're going to lose who?
Tony Pollard, their running back.
Oh.
He's a unrestricted free agent. But they're over their cap. So I want to say they're 20 million over their cap, somewhere right around in there for next year. So I mean,
would have heard to verify that.
So they have some cap casualties to deal with anyway.
Yeah, I don't really know if I'm ready for the Dak and Cousins comparison. Maybe we can do that. Break it down on a upcoming show. Maybe even next week. We probably need to have something to talk about. But yeah, I'm not ready for that right now because to me it's like it's not exactly the same. Like there's some similarities there, but my recollection of Cousins' play is that he's not throwing multiple interceptions in the early part of a game, putting the team in the hole. That's one of the things that people have been complaining about Dak about. Yeah. I mean, in the fourth quarter, he'll come back perhaps and throw some darts and everything, but you wouldn't have to work that hard had you not given the ball up first and second quarter, which he's been prone to do. Even against teams that are not great, he's been doing that. Yeah. So Cousins is not that. He's one of the guys that the knock on him is that when the lights are the brightest, he fades at prime time. I don't know what it got to do with nighttime. I don't see the point is. He can't play at night. I don't get that part. But that's what they talk about, and that's the narrative on him. But to me, it's not even. It's kind of apples and pomegranates, maybe.
Well, it's pomegranate. I like pomegranate flavored stuff, so I guess I'm with you on there. But I think the thing is just you don't expect Kirk to take you to the Super Bowl. You expect to have a good regular season with him and not a good playoff. And I think that's the problem. I think Dallas's record with both those guys will probably be the same regular season, but you expect to flame out in the playoffs, and that's just not getting them where they need to be. So
this is another team that seems like they want to avoid the running game. We seen it last night, and we'll get to that shortly. Get away from the running game. It never does well for you in terms of ball control, possession time, and a lot of times winning games, especially in red zone situations. It never bodes well when you get away from the running game. This team seems to be doing that. They got to start all over again. It sounds like because I know Pollard. They're not gonna be sad that Pollard's gonna be gone. Nobody's gonna cry on that team. So, oh man, Pollard, please stay with us. That's not gonna happen. They ready to start over, and you can kind of tell. Yeah. But what about Jay Gruden and RG3? What are we doing? What is this? Jay Gruden.
You want to talk about the most random feud? Like, has this been festering for years? Like, what's going on?
It's been festering for years. I'm trying to find out, like, why did RG3 feel like he even had the answer with Jay? I mean, that's the part. Like, that's how you know you're not healed. When something triggers you like this, like, okay, you haven't gotten to the place in your life where you move past this. You were tired. Nobody's fault. You were tired because of injuries and that kind of stuff. Yep. People didn't want you on their team. That's fair as well. Now you're an analyst. You're talking on my TV every doggone day. Sometimes you make sense, sometimes you don't. And you make your money. You're doing you. You got a whole new career path you're carving out for yourself, and it's going to be working well. Your old coach tweets something. You see the tweet. Was you following him? You see the tweet, and then you respond to it, and this is what we got right here. Gruden was talking about Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. He wasn't talking about RG3.
No, RG3 went at him. Because it's not even like it was anything.
It was not.
It wasn't anything crazy. He's just like, oh man, if I ever let down one of my quarterbacks like that, I'm sorry. And all of a sudden RG3 is like, what? And it's like, dude, what are we even doing right now?
Yeah.
Like,
cranking it up, man. Cranking it up. Oh my God.
Yeah.
We're talking about. I ain't saying that Gruden was a great coach. That's not really what this is about. But he got this one quotes in here like, you told me you didn't know how to coach a quarterback who could throw and run like me. So it looks like you weren't prepared, Jay. I mean, is that not bitter?
Oh no, that totally is, because he responded to the the what with you weren't prepared with a question mark. Like, what are you talking about? You were rookie of the year. Like, how unprepared were you? Like, what are you talking about?
And then Gruden comes with a kill shot. Yeah. You weren't good enough. Kirk was better. Yeah. Cleveland didn't want you. Baltimore didn't. Quit blaming me. I'm like, oh wow.
Well, that was like, leave me alone, go away.
That was a headshot in the woods. You're done, man.
If you got a guy coming at you, you'd be like, okay, let me just dunk on you and end this thing.
Yeah. This is. I hope it's over, but I don't know.
It's not over. This thing's gonna pop back up.
It kind of feels like it's still going.
This thing will pop back up. Next time that Jay Gruden says something, RG3 has those notifications on. He's just waiting for him to put something out that he can be like, ah.
He's following his old coach who he got contempt for.
Yep.
You just asking to hear something that's gonna set you off. Unfollow him.
No. It's exactly what I've said the whole time we've known each other, is your haters are your best followers. He is going to hang on to following him to the end of the earth. He may delete everything and create a burner just to follow him. Like, this is that's
the Kevin Durant strategy. Yes.
100%. Yeah, no, that's the best thing about haters, is they are without a doubt your best followers ever.
I had one last night. And the hate was vigorous. I'm like, wow, this is a new feeling. Stop. It's all good. But before we get into the games, you guys want to chat briefly about Lamar Jackson. That's kind of the reason why I got the hate that I did yesterday. I don't make too many definitive statements on social media, period. I just ask questions, provoke thought. Fully all I'm trying to accomplish. I ain't trying to be the talking head. Other people got that job. They can go ahead and do that. I'm just asking questions, trying to be thought-provoking and dig a little deeper than what's on the surface. So with this situation, even before the game, we kind of felt like, and people were talking about it, that this game was going to be a legacy-making game for Lamar Jackson. I mean, there was a whole bunch of stuff that he fought through, being drafted last in the first round. I think it was 30 or 31st in the 30 or 31st in the 2018 draft by the Ravens. Came out of Louisville, issues about accuracy and him in his pocket passing, more prone to run, feet always moving, ready to run before he throws. They were all these little things that they were talking about that were supposed to be, I guess, criticisms of him as a football player. He got into a situation here where he's had one of his best seasons stat-wise. I think in his time together, it's been 77 regular season starts. He's 58-19 with the Ravens. So I guess he's batting like 753 with them. Best win percentage in the NFL, tied for it anyways. In his 3 career playoff starts, he's 1-3. Completed a little under 66% of his passes. 3 touchdowns, 5 picks, 16.3 passer rating. They got a couple of 100-yard rushing games in there because, again, it's what he does best, I guess. But in this situation, it's been 6 years. He got some great numbers, man. Played 86 games, almost 16,000 passing yards, 125 touchdowns, 45 picks, so about a third of his passes are picks. He's known for touchdowns on the ground, too. 29 of those. I mean, he got an outstanding 6-year resume. If you just exclude a playoff start, was this game a legacy-making game for him? Now that we see the aftermath of it, was that big a deal, or does he have time to, I guess, come back and regroup, or is the book closed on him in some regards? What do you think?
He's got time to come back.
Yeah, definitely.
I wouldn't say this was a defining moment. I think this was a spot where you saw a team that has been here a bunch of times before show their maturity, because the Ravens were making mistakes. They got away from things they've done extraordinarily well during the season. They were one of the better running teams, right? And they just didn't run the ball. And it's not that they couldn't, they just didn't. So there were.
That's happened in the past 5 weeks. That's been happening. Very low rushing yard numbers. I don't understand why not. Why not run?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's one of the things that they've done great throughout the season. So I don't know why they've kind of gotten away from it. But, they obviously had a couple of, bad drops. They had, the pick in the end zone, a couple of fumbles, right? So the turnovers were really the biggest key, because if you look at the stat line, they're almost identical. Yeah. So the turnovers is really what lost this game for them. But them trying to do too much in the passing game, I think, really affected their ability to use the game they normally play. Because, again, they just tend to run the ball well. So it didn't make sense why they didn't try and slow the game down and use the run game more effectively. But I don't think it's a legacy-defining moment. Obviously, it's not great, right? But they still are going to have a decent team. They're not going to be as good next year, but I think he still has time to do that. A lot of teams have gone up against KC and caught nil.
Okay, Eric?
Yeah, no, I think, he's got time. I think it's one of those that could have helped define his legacy for the positive. Sure. But on the flip side of it, he'll still have time. And somebody already posted the stat, like Peyton Manning lost 6 of his first 9, playoff games. So are we being too harsh too soon? You do wonder how much time he has, because the league just feels like it, except for Kansas City, everything else in the league seems like it changes fast. So is he going to get caught by, like the Clevelands and the Cincinnatis? But you have to think this was one of their best chances, really to kind of get over that hump. You're playing at home. Defense pitches a shutout for the whole second half, and you just don't generate anything after the first quarter. It's just tough to watch. And then you're looking at the numbers here, and it's like Gus Edwards, 3 rushing attempts. Zay Flowers had 2 rushing attempts. I mean, Hill had 3. It's like to that point, you've built a team for years as a running team. You get them a couple weapons in the passing game, and then you just decide we're not even going to attempt it at all. Like, we're not going to keep the defense honest at all. So I don't know. I think I posted that he was going to have to run for 100 yards in the second half for them to get anything, referring to Lamar Jackson, just because it didn't seem like anything else was going. But to that point, I mean, if Flowers doesn't reach for that touchdown, if he just goes down and they're, first and goal from the 1 or 2, we're probably having a different conversation here. At least the narrative gets changed. You have other opportunities, or if he doesn't throw that pick late, it's 2 key moments right there that could flip this whole thing on its head. So it's just weird. So
I'm with you on that. I mean, I've been hearing a lot of the chatter. I'm not really on the side of some of that stuff. I don't know. Maybe we could talk about that even today or on a future show. If the quarterback should have that much weight on his shoulders to carry the entire team, because there's other parts that play a role in your ability to win a football game. It's not just the quarterback, but a lot of stuff is being dropped on his shoulders. I'm like, I don't know. I'm not sure that's fair or not. I guess it depends. I mean, they get paid more than everybody else, so maybe you think.
And that was going to be my point.
That makes
you're going to ask for those big contracts, it's going to be on your shoulders. I'm sorry, but if that's what you're doing, that's it. So
okay, well, if that's the case, then that's where we stand at. Then that means that a lot of this should be a defining moment for him. Then, because you had opportunities with your arm and you fought for this. You say, I'm more than just a runner. I'm more than just a rusher. I mean, I'm a passer. I can pass with anybody. I can make all the throws. Any of the other quarterbacks that came before me. You fought for that. Now the Chiefs tested you and put you in that spot. So you know what? Now throw the ball. We're gonna defend against that. Beat us with your arm. And you wasn't able to do that.
Well, but you're not going to be able to do that if you're one-dimensional. Like you just abandon a part of the game. The defense gets to play different. It's much harder to make all those throws if they don't have to actually respect the fact that you're going to run the ball.
Yep. I understand that.
Well, so I mean, you can look back at the greats, right? They generally had a running game in winning a Super Bowl, right? Like they usually had a guy that could run the ball. You don't typically win at the high level if you're a one-dimensional team. That doesn't get a fall on Lamar because he's not out there calling the plays. Like the fact that they just didn't run the ball doesn't make sense because now you're putting crazy pressure on Lamar for no reason because it's not like you can't run. You got a running back. You were dominating the league in running. So,
You might put that on Lamar though. That's play calling and stuff.
No, that's what I just said. Yeah.
I'm with you on that. That's not. I ain't on him. So, I mean, the time of possession was bad, man. In comparison to how long the Chiefs had the ball, that's not good. We talk how many minutes in the game? 60 minutes, right?
Yeah.
They had it for a little over a third of that time. They had the ball in their hands. 22 minutes, and those penalties were just nightmarish. So
yes.
They collapse in regards to that having any kind of composure. Because it's kind of on coaching a little bit too, right? 8 penalties for 95 yards, almost 100 yards in penalties. I mean, against the Chiefs, defending Super Bowl champions, you can't do that kind of stuff like that. I just kind of just feel like it was like, they had pressure on Lamar. He got sacked 4 times, so that was happening. But it's like they got away from what they did best, like you said, Bo. And it's like, why would you? I'm seeing that with a lot of teams. I don't know what it is about the running game. They just get away from it and they don't ever go back to it. It's like this is not really what football, like you said, in championship games, Super Bowls, you see it all the time. The running game makes a difference.
Yeah.
Even the Super Bowls that we won, I seen it. The running game was the linchpin. It was like, you ain't stopping this. And even when you stopped it a little bit in the first quarter, you're gonna keep on doing it.
Yep.
Wear your guys down in the second quarter, and in the second half, you're gonna keep doing it over and over again. That's what happened to the Patriots. Mm-hmm. And that happened to most Super Bowls I can recall. Can you guys think of one Super Bowl that didn't happen in? I can't think of one. Not right now.
Yeah. Even Kansas City ran it 24 times with just Pacheco alone in this game, And it wasn't super effective, but it does keep you more honest than, not running at all. Like your running back combined for 5 rushes. Like I don't even understand that. So,
yeah. There was not a rushing on both sides. 89 yards, 81 yards, respectively.
Wow. Well, so one of them was just not very good at running, and the other one just didn't do it. But even if you're bad at it, you have to respect it. All of a sudden, your linebackers have to still continue playing up. They don't get to fall back into coverage like they do if you're just not using the rushing at all. So
Oh, brother. All right. Say good morning. Oh, where we did that. Okay. Good morning. Okay, so you guys want to break down Baltimore and KC real quick? I don't know how much more we can break down. We talked about the penalty. We talked about the ineffectiveness in the running game.
Running game and turnovers, man. It was just.
Yeah. I mean, that's the difference.
That's amazing. So I mean, we can talk about the legacy thing all day, man. I feel like Lamar has some part in this, but at the end of the day, I think Munson's new system was predicated on the ball being thrown all over the field and not so much the running game. So maybe he may learn something from this and start implementing more the running game because Gus the Bus, I mean, hopefully he's still there next year. I think he should still be there. If not, get him back inside the building because he helped them out a lot yesterday. I thought that he helped them stay in the game to some degree because they were like in trouble in some spots. And Gus the Bus was bailing them out and getting first down. So it's like, I don't know what's going to happen. But any thoughts on the game itself beyond what we talked about already? Or are we ready to move on to Lions and the Niners? I'm going to give you guys that because I don't know what to say.
I mean, I'm good. That it at the end of the day, it came down to a lack of rushing attack and turnovers.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay, Lions and Niners.
Really it.
Yeah.
And one last thing, just on ball, I feel bad. Somebody asked, "Can Baltimore get back in this game?" And I posted, Kansas City has trouble scoring in the second half, and Baltimore usually turns it on in the second half. So I felt like they had a good shot. And it's like half of that came true. Kansas City doesn't score a single point in the whole second half. So if you're the defense, you're looking at them going, guys, like, what else do you want? We made the adjustments. We hold, them to 17 points. Like, if you told me Kansas City was going to score 17, I would have said, okay, Baltimore's got this.
Yeah.
If they can get to the 20 mark, I think they can get to the 20 mark. So
exactly.
You're not asking for a lot. Give me a touchdown in the first quarter, field goal in the second. Give me a touchdown in the third quarter, field goal in the fourth. We win the game.
Exactly.
And that's just a big letdown.
Yeah. At that 6 minute, 45 second mark, I knew it was over. They were down by 10. I think KC had the ball in their hands. So I'm like, this is over.
Yeah.
There's nothing Baltimore can do. They tried to make a little run at the end and put some points up, but it was over, man.
Just not
enough. It was academic, man. I'm like, wow. Y'all had one of the best records in the league. Number 1 seed, I believe it was. Yep. And now you got smashed. All right. Lions and Niners, man. Where did we start?
This game was a roller coaster. Like
it was 21-7. I was sitting in I was getting ready to change the channel. I'm like, oh, Lions got this on lock. Now I actually thought about changing the channel. I'm like, oh, they got this. Niners ain't coming to play. They done. Went down to some dinner at halftime. I didn't get back right after.
And did you take the whole Lions team with you? Like what did you do?
I wouldn't feed any of those bums. No, I mean it was wow. I heard roaring of the crowd. I'm like, wait a minute. When the Lions were scoring 3 touchdowns, the crowd was roaring with that same level of decibels. Right? They were like, I'm like, the Lion fans out here. So I figured the Lion must have scored again. Came upstairs, looked at the score. It was 27-24, I think it was. I'm like, how was that? I just been upstairs for the halftime. That's what I did. I wasn't going that long. How you score 3 times in 8 minutes? That is incredible. We lost both. All right. What do you think, man? What you saw, brother?
That one was so. When San Francisco comes out after half, it ends up settling for a field goal. I thought that was their chance to get back into it. When they settled for the field goal, I was like, okay, maybe, Detroit can hold them off. Detroit goes down, and I mean, God bless him. Campbell, he stays true to who he is, but sometimes you just take the points. When you're trying to stave off a team and you're ahead like this, sometimes you just take the points, and it's like, all right, well, I'm looking at 3rd and 4, from the San Francisco 30. I run St. Brown up the middle for 2 yards, which I don't get that play call. Then I put the ball back in Goff's hands. And we talked about this, I think, last year about setting up your 4th downs, if you're going to do it.
Yeah.
Man, if I need 4 yards with the way they were running, I run twice with one of my actual running backs, versus putting it in Goff's hands. The balance was pretty good, but if I was setting up for the 4th down, I'm giving it to Montgomery or Gibbs twice in a row. And I know Gibbs had the huge fumble, but we're still talking about before that, But at some point on one of those 4th downs, you needed the field goal, just to keep you in this game, to stave off the momentum of the other team. So I think on that first one I do, just because San Francisco's just kicked the field goal. Kick a field goal, I keep my margin of victory, I keep things in hand. But
I think that third quarter, man, that goose egg, that's going to be what they think about. Third quarter.
Really, the last touchdown was a desperation one, I don't even know if I really give them credit for that one either, man. The whole second half was bad, but you just needed some points at some juncture. So I don't know.
You're going to have nightmares about that third quarter, man. No points, nothing for a whole quarter.
Yeah. Well,
that's when it's like, wow.
Also turn around and give up 17.
Yep.
Yeah, that's going to be the thing, because they lost the game by how many points? 3 points.
Yep.
They're going to. I don't know if Campbell's going to change his ways and start doing things differently. It doesn't seem to look that way right now.
I mean, right in his press conference, he's like, I don't regret making those calls. And to be fair, it's the style of coaching that got him there.
Right.
So, I mean, it's always, hindsight kind of thing. Yeah, it's dumb if it doesn't work, but if he does get those first downs out of those, you're like, oh, that's really smart. Right. So, being aggressive always gets called into question when it doesn't work. But I mean, it is the style of play that got him there.
Absolutely. Yep. Well, still proud of the Lions, man. They had a fantastic season. That record in 1957 is going to stand for a little while longer, but
unfortunately.
So how you guys feel about them going into next year? I mean, they haven't done anything yet from a draft perspective or personnel, but you like the chances to get back to this place and become regular playoff contenders, or I haven't been to the cap and anything like that, so I don't know.
So I do think that they can. I do think they'll be back in the playoffs. But also in that same press conference with Dan Campbell, he said that it's going to be harder to get there, and he's not wrong. It's always harder to get there. You won your division last year. You're in the championship game, so no one's going to overlook you on their roster, on their schedule, right? They're going to circle that one. They're going to be like, "Oh, this is one of the better teams. We're showing up for that game." So
take advantage of that when you
exactly. They're going to get everyone's best next year. So they're definitely probably going to have a harder path to get there. Can they get there? I think they can, but they're going to have a harder path to get there.
Yeah.
All right.
I think their draft has been great. So a lot of their key pieces are still young. Exactly. I think they probably spend a couple more picks on defense coming up into this next year. And then I think your longer term is you got to figure out how much longer you're riding with Goff, and if you're going to try. And I don't know. I mean, they did the Hendon Hooker, I guess, with the third round, and he sat out there because of his ACL. So I don't know what they think of him, what their next one is. But no, I agree with the points. It's going to be tougher because you do have more of a target on your back, and just Green Bay get a little bit better. What does Minnesota do at quarterback? That sort of situation. And the Bears continue to be the Bears, I guess. But
wow.
I do have them in the playoffs next year, I guess, if I had to just think about it now. But lose your OC too, right? Yeah.
It's going to be a tough division because Green Bay looks like they're coming.
Right.
And the Vikings, if they can, keep a quarterback healthy, we're primed to still win a lot of games. I mean, they won a lot of games with the quarterback carousel they had.
With whoever decided to start that next week, yep.
Yeah. I mean, they still ended up winning a bunch of games with that. So, I mean, this next season, I'm with you. I think the Bears are still kind of the Bears, but but 3 or 4 are going to be good teams.
Yeah. The division's going to get tougher. So this is why you have to capitalize on these opportunities, man. You just don't know when they're coming again. Like look at Philly. You thought they were world beaters, and all of a sudden it's like out in the first round. You just don't know how. I guess unless you're the Chiefs, even the Chiefs, it was a struggle with every win, heart attack city every week. So it's you got to take advantage of these opportunities, man. When you have
no doubt.
Well, and that's why Dan Campbell, he said a lot of things in that press conference because he opened it with, this might have been our shot.
Yeah,
it was. But they got Zach Ertz, so maybe next year they have some improvement at tight end. I guess if that's what they're shooting for.
I know Laporta was great though.
I love me some Laporta, bro.
Yeah,
even before he came out.
Yeah.
Loved him in college.
That's what I don't think offense is necessarily the problem, man. Shore up the defense.
Oh, they got some studs out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they've had a top scoring offense the last couple of years. That secondary is really the problem. Yeah. Like you can put up points on this team if you stretch the field.
Yep.
So if they can address their secondary issue, they're still going to be a very good team.
Yep.
Yeah, we're going to see. We got a couple of comments about some stuff we already talked about already, and then we'll go ahead and close the show out for today. Mama's saying, I agree with her. If you demand the money, you get the responsibility. Well, I mean, it's kind of hard to deny that. I mean, they're making so much of the cap is going to quarterback. It's like, but I guess I feel like that makes sense and it's fair in that regard, but it's kind of unfair because like they don't control everything. They control that side of the they call it signal caller for a reason. So they control that. They control that part of things, but they don't control the defensive side. It can't all be on them.
Well, here's the
hold
thing.
Hold on. Let me finish the thought first. In some regard, they don't even make all of the play calls. Sometimes that comes from the sidelines. So you can't put the whole team's wins and losses on them. That's kind of weird. But Mommy's right though. I mean, if you get that kind of money, you demand that kind of money, like she said. Responsibility, a lot of it's going to be on you. So maybe Lamar got to look at that and say, you know what? I'm a big part of why we got here, but I'm a big part of why we're not going any further. Go ahead, Bo.
Just the big thing with quarterbacks is when things go well, they get more credit than they should. And when things go bad, they get more blame than they should. Like that's just part of the position. And it's always been true. So, I mean,
and
does it all fall on him? Does it all fall on him? No, of course not. The defense has to do their job. Play calling has to do their job. But he's the face of the franchise, so he's going to catch that heat. When they do great, is it all on him? No, the defense had to do their job. Play calling had to do their job. So it's not all on him. But he's the face of the franchise. He gets all the praise. So it cuts both ways. And, I mean, you know, it's just the position. And you know that it's going to go that way. And that's part of the dollar figure also.
Yep. Oh, no doubt. Go ahead.
No, I agree with that. And I guess I said it wasn't legacy defining, but it is going to be a huge chunk of it for him. Like I said, for those points, you know, you agree we'd take that much money. And then if we're going to say that, it is on everybody. Well, the defense puts a shutout for the second half. Exactly. And you guys put up 10 points. So, does the Zay Flowers fumble hurt you in that regard? Because that has nothing to do with you. Yeah, but you've got to find other ways to do it. You know, you do throw an end zone, an interception end zone. I mean, that's on you. So you're the leader of the offense, and that part does affect things. So I don't know. I'd love to see you over there cursing out the offensive coordinator on the sideline. Hey, man, let's run the ball. You know, something, right?
Yeah, let's mix it up.
the brand new OC. Yeah, I bet that wouldn't happen. Maybe next year.
And are you saying there's just no way he can check into a run play ever? Like, does he have no control at all at the line?
He's got to have.
He's a running quarterback, right?
So.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to have audibles at his disposal.
Yeah, so.
He's
like I said,
he's running when he sees the lane.
Yeah.
Why didn't he just? He can do that, right?
That's what I would figure.
Yeah,
that's what I figured. And you have a well publicized holdout and contract dispute, and you get all this money. Like you can't have 10 points at home in a playoff game. It just can't happen. So.
All right, and there's another one from Triple B saying Harbaugh's an extraordinary addition. I love Mr. Harbaugh, so I ain't gonna say nothing bad about him in this regard. But it's like the coaches that have come through there over the past, I don't want to go back too far.
Huge upgrade from Staley.
Yeah. That's not fair. What are you really saying, though?
in that, there's no dispute.
I figured I'd just shoot a shot across the bow.
even before Staley, there was some questionable hires, not because they weren't good at coaching per se, but it just wasn't. You just knew it. It was like these guys are like placeholders. You don't really think they're going to be here for a long period of time. You just don't see. I can't remember their name. That's how irrelevant I think they were to me. But Harbaugh should do some great things over there. Hopefully, the Spanos family is ready for his level of personality. Ready yourself, brother, because he's
5 years.
I mean, he could have went back and made the NCAA a living hell, but he decided to go to the NFL. So, Spanos family, prepare yourself. And there's no GM still, I don't think. So, I don't think they have a GM still yet. So, get ready. Good times are coming in Los Angeles for you. All right, man. Any closing thoughts, guys? This was a fantastic show. You guys are brought the insights as usual, man. Great job, all of you guys. Any other closing thoughts? I'm going to shut it down.
Yeah, just looking for the coaching carousel to end. Like I'm ready for these coaches to land places, and we can start figuring out what these teams are going to look like.
Just one more, right? Seattle, it's the last one, right?
Well, no, Washington still has a couple of interviews to do. So it's being projected that it's Ben Johnson, but they are still doing the third interview with Dan Quinn. So we'll see.
Okay.
It's not officially a hire yet.
Okay. Seattle and Washington then.
Yeah, for now.
You have any prospects who you want there besides yourself?
What, in Seattle?
Yeah. Seattle.
I mean, I would like either Mike McDonald or Ben Johnson. I don't particularly want Dan Quinn back.
Yeah,
why would you force out Pete Carroll to bring in one of his dudes?
Right.
So.
All right, bro. Maybe it is McDonald. Cheer for me that happens. All right, man. Hurt.
Good, man. I enjoyed the games yesterday, man. So it was a fun time. So I hate that I was rooting for the Detroit as much as I was, and it's like when you watch things just fall apart like that, and you're just like, somebody do something. You know, just like watching a bad horror movie and you're yelling at the guys to
don't go back in the house.
Yes, exactly. And they went back in the house. It's like that Geico commercial when they were like, let's just hide behind the chainsaws. I was like, no, don't hide behind the chainsaws. What are you? Oh,
that's where the death is at.
Yes. Yep. And that's where it was. And it's just so I was listening to one of the radio guys before when they talked about they don't believe in momentum. Man, it's a thing. When you could see once the Niners got rolling, it was just over. So hate it for Detroit, man. But I don't know, kind of looking forward to the Super Bowl a little bit. Maybe just a tiny bit.
Okay, well, I am. I'm going to need your help with that. I need my brothers to help me because I ain't feeling none of that. None of it. Somebody on Twitter tried to always start doing the roast. I'm like, I'm not saying nothing to fit. I'm just saying that I ain't super excited. I love football, probably more the guy that was talking trash, but I'm not there. Maybe in a week I'll get there, but I'm not there. I don't want to see certain people on my screen anymore.
You know what's going to get you there?
I don't want any more of that.
You know what's going to get you there is the week before you got to watch a flag football game, and you'll be like, you know what? Super Bowl's going to be all right.
I'm not watching that junk, and you know me better than that. I'm not watching that trash. I'll watch me. I'll turn the TV off in a minute. Don't play with me.
So here's the thing with the Taylor Swift situation, right? Like,
I'm still her name on the show.
People are mad, right, about her, and it's not her fault.
Right.
Like, she's there, sure. But you got to blame the TV stations if you don't want, because they're the ones with the camera guys that are pointing the cameras everywhere. So I actually don't get the hate for Taylor on it.
I don't either. She's doing as little as possible.
Is it the right word?
There's a lot of hatred.
There's a lot of hate.
There is a lot of hate. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I ain't buying her album, but I don't hate her.
No.
Okay, but you're one of the few. Have you not been reading the Twitter comment? People legitimately hate.
Yeah,
no, I'm not spending that much time on Twitter like that.
You're not? Okay.
It's been crazy.
Really
and it's been building throughout the season, but like it's gotten to a crazy spot. And the thing that's funny is she's just cheering on the team. She's in the booth. It's not like she's out there like parading around the stadium or anything. She's literally captive in the booth watching football. Like I actually can't hate on her for that. The cameras need to figure something out, because if you're playing the drinking game, you probably died because she was on the screen a lot.
Yeah,
but that's not on her. She doesn't control those. So, that's got to come down to your film crews and your TV stations, because they're the ones that are creating this situation.
Well, that was a business decision, though. Ratings, you're grabbing a lot of people who are really only watching just to see, which is amazing to me, because I promise you right now, huge Michael Jordan fan, but I'm not like, if he was at, I don't know, a roller derby thing and they were showing him, like, I'm not watching for that. Like, there would never be an instance where I'd do something like that. So it's amazing. I see they're making a business decision, but it's not on her. Like, I don't know.
It doesn't fall on her at all. But you're right. I mean, they're saying that her being around the league has generated $331 million worth of revenue. That's insane.
Awesome.
Yes.
So
awesome.
I mean,
I want them to go broke. So I'm glad to hear that. I want them to go broke.
Yeah. Well, they got to pay all these quarterbacks and coaches.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, but
I have family support out here, so Okay.
For that reason, you do kind of get why they're pointing the cameras at her, right? They're like,
oh, I just don't. I don't
train as much as we can.
Yeah.
I don't need to talk about her on this show. That's all. That's all I'm saying. I'm getting it. The camera doing it's not her. It's not on her. I got more of a beef with Kelsey. I don't like his attitude.
Okay.
In certain spots, I don't like his attitude. I'm like, is he beholden to do this because she's there? You know how to. All you guys had girlfriends before in school. You know how it is. When your girlfriend's around, you do weird stuff. You start changing out of your normal personality, and you do things that a little bit more puffed up, do more crazy stuff. He knows she's watching, and he out here doing. Man, we ain't got no time on the show for that. There's some things that he's doing. It's like, really? You trying to flex in front of your girlfriend out here? Really? Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously he didn't need to chuck Tucker's helmet and balls.
That was not. See, that's all girlfriend flexing. That's all that was. That's all it was. Now Tucker probably played mind games with them, probably, because he was smiling a whole lot. Like, yeah, in their heads. They didn't win, but he was like trying to be fourth out there, throwing helmets and what. I'm like, because it's taking his guy Mahomes, my auto, and like really.
I love my auto.
Come on, man. It's just that's the influence about her. I'm wondering, it's making you act a fool out here. It's going to get you hit. It's going to get you knocked out here. That's what's going to happen. Players got egos too now. The old players got egos as well. They got pride too. Keep playing. Anyway, are we done talking about her now? Can we go now?
I mean, you brought her up.
No, I didn't. I did not bring her up. Love you guys, man. Tell everybody where they can find you guys, man.
Go ahead, Herb.
Do you see my at Raj Herb? That's on Twitter, X, or you can search us out on the Herb Raj podcast on YouTube and Spotify podcasts, and basically everywhere podcasts are found, you can find us.
Awesome job.
Yep. And of course, on all the socials at Football Talk with Bo, my YouTube channel at Football-Talk, and of course the Daily Show on Roku TV.
Let's go, baby. Thanks, guys. You guys did an awesome job as usual.
I know.
Okay. It's man.